Join me as I dig deep and try to uncover whether IPOB is really behind the planned protest in Nigeria. The recent protests in Nigeria have sparked widespread concern, with many questioning the role of the indigenous people of Biafra, or IPOB, in the unrest. As an organization that has been at the forefront of the push for Biafran independence, IPOB's involvement is a crucial aspect to explore. There are conflicting narratives surrounding the protests and IPOB's alleged involvement, with some claiming that the group is purely a separatist movement, while others believe they are working towards a more sinister agenda. Some argue that IPOB's calls for independence are merely a smokescreen for more nefarious activities, while others see them as a legitimate voice for the marginalized Igbo people. The Nigerian government has accused IPOB of inciting violence and promoting secession, but the group maintains that it is a peaceful organization fighting for the rights of its people. One thing is certain, IPOB's leader, Nnamdi Kanu, has been vocal about his disdain for the Nigerian government, and his supporters have been known to take to the streets to protest against perceived injustices. But to what extent is IPOB truly behind the planned protests? Is this a legitimate expression of discontent, or is there something more at play? The involvement of external actors has also been raised, with some pointing to foreign backing for IPOB's activities. Whether or not this is the case, it is clear that the situation in Nigeria is complex, and disentangling the various threads requires a deep dive into the history of IPOB and the current political climate in Nigeria. The history of IPOB is marked by periods of violence and unrest, with the group's formation in 2012 coinciding with a surge in secessionist sentiment. Since then, IPOB has been at the forefront of the push for Biafran independence, with its supporters often clashing with Nigerian security forces. Previous protests have been met with brutal force, resulting in the deaths of countless IPOB supporters and bystanders. The current political climate in Nigeria is similarly complex, with the government facing criticism for its handling of the economy, corruption, and insecurity. Many Nigerians feel disillusioned with the status quo, and IPOB's message of independence and self-determination resonates with those who feel marginalized and oppressed. However, the government's stance remains firm, with IPOB being labeled a terrorist organization and its leaders facing treason charges. In the midst of this turmoil, statements from leaders have been telling. Nnamdi Kanu has been vocal about his support for the protests, but has also called for calm and restraint. Nigerian government officials, on the other hand, have been unequivocal in their condemnation of IPOB, with the president himself accusing the group of plotting to overthrow the government. Public reactions have been mixed, with some seeing IPOB as a legitimate voice for the oppressed, while others view them as a threat to national unity. Some have pointed to the timing of the protests, which coincided with a period of heightened tension in the country. Others have highlighted the role of social media in spreading IPOB's message and mobilizing its supporters. Still, others have questioned the government's response, arguing that the heavy-handed approach has only fueled the flames of unrest. As we examine the evidence, it becomes clear that the situation is far from clear-cut. While IPOB's involvement in the protests is undeniable, the extent of their role remains murky. There are certainly legitimate grievances that need to be addressed, but there are also concerns about the group's methods and motives. Ultimately, the truth lies somewhere in between. IPOB is not solely responsible for the protests, but nor are they completely innocent. Thanks for watching, and be sure to share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you're interested in learning more about Nigeria's political issues, be sure to check out our related video on the topic.